Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Pre-Orders and Prototypes. This is the segment of Braddock Media where I go over a current collectible that's hit the market that's on pre-order. I go through all the different production shots, tell you what my opinions are, what I think about it, and at the end of this episode, I let you know if I ordered it for a future review on the show. So this week's episode, as you can see, is Carnage. We did Venom last week, which was a big thumbs down, and this week we've also done the Comiket Carnage on the show as well as the Spider-Man. So this is really kind of exciting to showcase this new one that's going to be coming out 10 years later after the Comiket version. So let's get into this. This one is $479.99. So this is almost $200 less than the Venom, which is a huge selling point right off the bat for me, especially because actually he's about roughly, no, Spider-Man was still a little bit more than that, but in general, surprisingly, he's actually the cheapest out of them. And honestly, from what I'm seeing, probably one, I don't know if he's better than Spider-Man, but he's up there. So $479. His measurements are 22, so they definitely staggered them. Venom was 24 and Spider-Man was 26, so they have a 2-inch difference to kind of... They were originally supposed to showcase between them. If you didn't watch the Venom episode, go back and watch that one because it explains a little bit why I didn't like it. I'll address it slightly again, but I don't want to kind of like beat a dead horse on that issue. Let's jump into our first photo here, which is one of what I, again, call the action shots with all the nice lighting. Right off the bat, this is pretty beautiful, and I love the fact that the face looks like they merged the Comiket and the bust, and nobody seemed to be happy with either one of those on some level. They hated the bust. They thought it looked way too bird-like. Honestly, from being a comic reader of the Carnage, like of Cassidy, he just... I don't know, he has that look, especially when he's in his full roar, like when he's letting out the screech. It is very bird-like looking with how angular and pointed the face looks. But for all those fans that bitched about the busts, I'm pretty sure this is going to make up for it on this one, which is great. This next picture here shows the axe. This is what makes it the exclusive, is this part. It slides right on there, which is really cool. So this is, yes, this is the exclusive version that we're kind of reviewing right now. I really like it. The axe, though, I would have liked the hand where the wrist part is to have narrowed in a little bit. I do understand that a wrist isn't going to narrow too much, but up where the fingers pointed, it could have been a little bit more narrow. It would have been a way more... and pointed. Like, whenever Carnage made weapons, they were definitely really long and angular, which would have been... This is really, right off the bat, like a battle axe, which... is a little bit more He-Man toy looking than it is Carnage. So Carnage, again, would have had like really long points to the ends. This next shot here with the gray, we finally get into actually seeing what the color of the statue is going to really look like. And this is amazing. This is that mix between the dark red and the orangey red. And I think this is almost a little bit more accurate to the comics than the Comiket one was. I definitely think they nailed it a little bit more on this. I love the stance. What I didn't like about the Venom statue, which of course if you watch that episode, is I hated the base. I think it looked really stupid. It's of course designed around the Spider-Man, but it didn't make sense and it didn't really match for the rest of the statue, where this one looks fantastic. I love the broken rubble. It is a little odd with the way his leg is standing. I think it's almost like he's cowering, which is definitely not what I'm used to and seeing in my Carnage. So here's the shot that you would have seen earlier in the show when we opened. This is what I call the little mini poster. I really love these. They put the effort into them. It's a little odd with the blurry hand, but I guess they had to focus on the face. And that face is pretty impressive. The cool thing about this is they didn't... I mean, maybe they went for the hyper-realistic look that they were trying to go for the Venom, but they really, I don't know, nailed this one. The face, this next shot here shows it all. I'm actually going to kind of get a closer up shot of the face here. They kept the same bone look in the eye detailing that the Venom, which is what I really like about this, but the body is still that kind of matte, but a mix of gloss, because they couldn't have made it all glossy or else the tendrils would have looked really odd and kind of misplaced. This next shot here, yes, it is a little bit more like the bust than it is the Comiket statue, but I really love it. I hope all of that detail and that face comes through with the actual final piece on this will just make my day. You can now see, you've probably seen it in a couple shots here, the swap out hand, which is the one that will come with the non-exclusive statue as well. I love this. I think it's so beautiful. We get into past this one another, just one with the apple, which is, of course, I do like that for size comparison because it's a little more accurate. So far, we haven't seen any cute gingers floating around here. I don't know why I'm air quoting. It's probably because I'm back in my studio and it's super freaking freezing and I'm trying to warm up my hands by moving them. Anyways, yes, I'm loving it. I'm loving the base. I'm loving the detail. This looks better with the way his legs are positioned. That first one just kind of threw me a little bit. These tendrils are definitely, from what I can see, plastic. I can't see them being polystone because in the Comic-Cat review that we did with the Carnage in that one, a lot of them broke. They had a lot of breakage problems, and I'm okay this time around if this one ends up having plastic for all the black tendrils because they'll last longer. They'll have more of a sheen and a shine, and just from what I'm seeing in the back, the ones that are not on the body seem to have a different sheen and glow. That is maybe a downfall to having two different types of mediums, but kind of jumped ahead here. So we passed the apple. Going into this shot here, even better. Again, though, he does look a little cowering. Maybe that's what they were shooting for with Venom, because Venom's stance is kind of coming in and coming down at Carnage, but Carnage is one crazy mofo. I can't really see him cowering to either Venom or Spider-Man. He's just gonna get in there and he's gonna, attack with vengeance. Not even vengeance, just insanity. He's just crazy. He's psychopath, but love it. Love that character. There's a huge breakdown about him and a little bit of his history in the Comic-Cat review if you want to check that out and learn a little bit more, because that's not the show for this one. So yeah, that's a great shot. And then we got more of the side profile. Definitely looking at those tendrils, I'm pretty sure they are plastic. I like the extension of the back leg. All of his points of where he's standing make sense, which is a lot more than I can say for the Venom statue, which of course, yes, big thumbs down for me on that one. I'm definitely not pre-ordering it. Yeah, here's a back shot of him. It does look a little bit odd. I will admit the way his legs are positioned, it would have make more sense if the one leg was down kind of on that metal beam a little bit more, but I don't know. Again, you'd have to see them standing side by side. Again, that's not going to work though because they're just totally different looking statues when it comes to the paint job. So I don't think they're going to look really great together when it comes to Venom and him. Spider-Man and Carnage though could function and work. Still quite a different paint job. The Spider-Man is very matte and this still has a little bit more of a shine to it. So here's a side profile. This is my favorite. This is the way that I would probably have this displayed in my home. It just shows off everything. It shows the claws, it shows the hands, it shows the full extent of the mouth. Like this right here is, I think, probably the best shot out of all of them so far that I've seen that I like the most. Here's a more up close of that shot, and yeah, it's beautiful. I love the way the tendrils come off. It is a little weird that they're all just off the back. Like, I understand why they did that, because they're trying to hide probably the insert parts where they inserts into the body, because the one that came with the Comic-Cat, they were kind of all over the place, which was a really nice touch. That is a little bit odd on this one, but still, now you can see the back. This back is so beautiful, and I think that's almost going to be a crime and shame in itself if you have to pose your statue without seeing this, because this so far is probably one of the coolest parts of the statue that I've seen on it besides the face. It's really cool and goopy, and it just really actually nails the symbiote for me, which is really cool. Here's a shot of the side torso. So you do get a little bit on the front. I guess we can kind of address this. If you watch the Batman episode, we talked about bulges in the front, and this is kind of the same thing. I don't know what it is with Sideshow and not embracing the package here when it comes to their characters, because there's, again, a very flat front there. That's a little odd. It's not, especially with Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man's all about the bulge, and yeah, just it's not there in this one. Here's a shot of the hand. I just love it. I love the symbiote in this. This is a real beautiful mix. I love the fact that his body almost looks like it's being peeled off in a way. Like his symbiote's almost made it look like he's got no skin, which is a really creep factor and upping it. And there are different versions of Venom that have that type of look to them. So here's a shot of the base, the full-on base. This base is way cooler than the Venom. I really wish they had kind of incorporated that more into this, because if they had matched these two and had Spider-Man more up in the building, it may have worked. It's still not going to function as a trio together. That Spider-Man really, really goes with the Green Goblin, and the Green Goblin goes with the Spider-Man. They definitely design those two together, and then semi-design these to function, and it doesn't work. So here's another action shot. Of course, you got the smoke going, you got the lights going. He looks pretty terrifying. Those teeth and that face are just killing me. They're so good. And now here's an action shot with him and Venom. So yes, in a way, if these two could get in this close together, it's a very tricky angle in that, because I'm really sure they don't actually, the way that their bases are designed, I can't see them fitting in this close, and Venom is a lot higher. He's 2 inches higher, so this is actually really inaccurate. From what I've seen of both statues, this definitely has to be a play on like the way that they've got them staggered on the display, because there's no way they would line up this way. Venom's head would definitely be higher and way up closer to way up closer to Cletus's face, which is not gonna work out very well. So yes, now that we've gone through all of these shots, there's not as many as there was for Venom. How do I feel about them? I've kind of explained a lot of it throughout this when it comes to the Venom. I'm sorry, it's not even a hate. I just think they really failed on that statue, and I think it's, I don't know, going to show. There are some diehard collectors that are going to get it one way or the other. There's a few people that are going to wait out for the Studio One, I think it's called. Sorry, I don't actually follow those ones. Anyways, yes, did I order it for the show? Did I order Carnage? Hell yes, I ordered Carnage. I have been waiting for a Carnage since the Comic-Cat, and this one nailed it. The Comic-Cat is beautiful, but it's too bulky and looks a little too much like Venom, whereas this one is sleek and slender and looks so much like Carnage. Like, this is one sexy statue for me. And sexy, I don't mean as in like erotic. I just mean everything about it is alluring. I love the detail. I love the face. They got the symbiote down to a T. Everything about this is just beautiful, and the production shots say it all. The price point is a big selling for me too. Again, almost $200 cheaper than Venom, which I still don't understand. That blows my mind in itself. So next week on Pre-Orders and Prototypes, we're going to cover the Black Cat, which kind of also goes with these series. We might as well wrap them up and tie them all together. Carnage is beautiful. I definitely can't wait to review them in a full episode of the show. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, considering I've already kind of nailed over everything about that character in my review for the Comic-Cat. Anyways, thank you for tuning in to Pre-Orders and Prototypes. Make sure to leave comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. I can't wait to hear from you. Thumbs up, and I will see you all on next week's episode. See ya.